Alright, so in this video, I'm going to tell you 5 things I like about the Road Glide. Let's check it out. Alright, what's going on YouTube? BK Low is back in the building. And yeah, about winding down our trip out here in the great state of Washington. And I figured I'd put enough miles on this Road Glide to tell you the 5 things that I really like about it. And you know, if you're someone that's either interested in buying the bike one day or renting it or what have you. But yeah, you know, I've really enjoyed my time with this bike. It's been a lot of fun. So here we go. Thing number 1 that I really like about the Road Glide, and I don't know if this is my imagination or if it's just the fact that I have a lot more riding experience from the last time I got on a bagger, but I feel like I could ride this bike a little bit more aggressively than any of the other baggers I've ever ridden. And when I say any of the other baggers, I'm talking about a Road King, a Street Glide, and an Ultra Classic. So out of all those, I don't know, for some reason I just feel like with this bike I'm able to really lean it a lot harder into curves. Whoa, this is crazy. Wonder what happened here. Alright, sorry, I'm getting off task. Really lean it a lot harder into curves, and I don't know, it's just like, it feels like I get the feel with this bike that I'm kind of like more in the bike rather than on the bike. And again, I don't know if that's just my imagination, but I don't know, I feel like I'm able to really ride this one just a little bit more aggressively than the other baggers I've ridden before. So yeah, I just like that I could ride this bike pretty close to the way I would ride my Dyna. Obviously not the same, but you know, there wasn't too many curves that I did today when I was really feeling like, oh, I gotta really be conservative on this one, I gotta really hold back on this one. I really was able to enjoy most of the curves that we hit today. Alright, thing number 2 that I really like about this Road Glide is the distinct look that it has. And I don't know, I really like the look of the Road Glide in comparison to the other baggers. And I'm not saying I don't like the look of like Street Glides and stuff like that, but it's like there are a number of other Harley Davidson models that have a batwing fairing, right? But I'm pretty sure this is the only model that has the shark nose fairing that the Road Glide has. So it's kind of like when you see this bike, you know exactly what it is. I know, it just has such a different look than anything else that they offer, and I don't know, I think it's cool. So for whatever reason, I gravitate towards that distinct look a little bit more, kind of like a FXRT fairing. Alright, so thing number 3 that I like about the Road Glide, and this is kind of going along to point number 2. Yeah, so I really like the dual headlights that this bike has, and I'm pretty sure that with this model that I'm on, it comes stock with 2 LED headlights, and if that's the case, that's awesome. But yeah, I mean, when you see those 2 headlights coming, you know exactly what the bike is. You know it's that Road Glide, right? So it goes back to point number 2. It's just like some real distinctness to that bike and to having the dual headlights on this bike. It's also just really good visibility, and I feel like when you see that, it gives the bike a bigger presence on the road, and I think that's cool, and that's always a good thing. So yeah.
The next day.
Alright, so picking it up a day later on I-5. Yeah, what happened is yesterday when we were hitting those traffic stops, the battery on the GoPro actually went dead. And these days I don't even take extra batteries with me. Usually when a battery goes dead in my GoPro, that means that I've done enough recording for the day. So I take it as that. So yeah, picking it back up today. Thing number 3, I was talking about how I really like those dual headlights. You know, that's a really distinguishing feature of the Road Glide. Gives it a really big presence on the road, which I think is really cool. So yeah. So thing number 4 that I really like is I really like that you can put T-bars on this bike. And I feel like it's one of the only touring models that they really offer that you could do that with. Like, I know you can't do that with a Street Glide, but I see a lot of guys with Road Glides running T-bars, and A, I think it looks really good, and B, after putting over 500 miles on this thing, it's really leaving me missing my T-bars and missing being in that riding position. So I think it's awesome that you can customize this bike to be that way. So yeah, I really like that about this bike for sure. And thing number 5 that I really like, and I kind of mentioned it in thing number 1, but I really like the amount of wind deflection that this fairing offers. I feel like whenever I've been on a street glide or even the Road King, I've gotten way more wind deflection on that bike. For this one, it's like I feel almost like I'm at my Dyna in terms of wind deflection, but from the wind that's hitting me on my actual upper body, it's significantly less. But I'm still getting roughly the same amount of wind towards my head, which is really interesting. I feel like I didn't really get that when I rode other touring models. So I like that because, you know, it's like the perfect amount of wind where like I do like to get a decent amount of wind, as you know, but at the same time, this fairing takes off so much wind off of your upper body that like I'm just not getting the same fatigue that I'm getting on my Dyna after those long high mileage days. So I think with this fairing, especially if you're coming off of something like a Dyna or a different model of Harley, I think you're gonna find that it's like a really nice balance of wind deflection with this bike. I really dig it. But yeah, you know, I'm going to leave this one saying that after putting the amount of time I put on this bike and after spending a lot of time on the other touring models when I rented them, out of all of them right now, if I ever was going to step up to a touring model one day, I really think it would be this. I really, really enjoyed my time on this bike. And like I said, I feel like out of all of them, it definitely fits my riding style more than any of the other touring models. Really digging the Road Glide. So yeah, if you're like someone who's into Dynas and you put a lot of time on a Dyna and you're thinking about stepping up to a touring model, I highly recommend giving the Road Glide a chance before you pull the trigger on anything. I don't know what it is about this bike, but I don't know, man. It just really does just fit my riding style more than any of the other touring models, like I said. Now don't get that misconstrued, you know, when I say things like this, like when I did the 2020 Lowrider S video, everyone's takeaway from that was that I was selling my Dyna to buy a new bike. I am nowhere near at a point where I want to upgrade to a touring model, simply for the fact that everything these bikes could do, I could do with my Dyna. And I take great pride in that, as you know. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, especially if you're in the market for a bike like this. And you know, if you're someone that owns this bike and there's something that I'm missing or something that I'm not clarifying or something that I got wrong or something you think I should know, please feel free to enlighten me in the comments section. You know, I always learn something new from that old comment section, so please feel free to weigh in on this one. Love to hear what you guys think. And yeah, we are gonna enjoy the rest of our beautiful ride out here in sunny Washington. And yeah, I am gonna do a follow-up video. There are some things that I do not like about this bike that are worth sharing, so I'll do a separate video on that. It'll most likely, I think I can narrow it down to 3 main things that I do not like about this bike. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. As always, thank you for watching. Stay safe out there and stay low. And BK Low is out.